The camera's giving me trouble. Don't know why. Maybe I should restart it. There it goes. Hi. Alright. Let's see where I am. On here. Alright, let's get going. So, welcome back again. Hopefully this isn't too bright. I think it looks probably okay. It's just bright when I step right into there, so that's alright. So we finished the rails for the most part. I've still got some stuff to do here. I'm going to try to keep my head out of this so you can kind of see where I'm at. I've repositioned my camera way up high, so hopefully my head will mostly be out of it. We'll see how that goes. So, let me zoom in a little bit on this. Let's see if I can adjust that just a little bit. Oh, other way. Alright, I think that's pretty good. Alright, we're back in the game. So, I don't see anyone here at the moment, so I will just get started. And if I see anybody show up, I'll say hi. And please say hi to me if you wish. Put something on there. I don't like it. Oh, it's a busy Friday for me. I don't know why people want to have busy Fridays, but it has turned out to be one. Anyways, I think I'm going to work with down here a little bit. So this whole section is done down here, but I think I'm going to work with this section here. I tend to like to work background to foreground. So the background that's in these windows is all done for the most part. And then behind here, I kind of want to get that done and get these pieces done. And then I'll work on this section up here. So that's where I think I'm at right now. I'm excited to get going up here, but I think I need to do the nitty-gritty stuff first. So let's go down here, and you can see that I've got a new setup here. I moved my photograph to a boom stand that I've got here, and I can just set it up wherever I want, which is nice. Let me get my oil and turpentine ready to go. This is stuck on there a little bit. All right. So I think I'm going to be working with a little bit larger brush. Let me try this Scepter Gold that I've got sitting here. Yeah, that's a good one, I think, to start with. We'll see how that goes. So a lot of black back there. I'm pretty much going to be painting this section kind of just over again, I guess. Still nobody's here. I'm still talking to myself. Let's see how this goes. So let's mix some paint. Some of this is dried up a little bit, so I'm going to kind of remove that a little bit and get to that good paint underneath there. All right, that should be fine. And I think I want some yellow ochre in that too. And again, this is all dried up, but I got good paint underneath it, so I want to use it. So I'm really just putting some yellow ochre in there to give a little bit of atmosphere to it. Never want to paint with pure black, even though, you know, on screen it probably looks pure black, but you know, if you look at it with the other pure black, it's not quite. Pull this up a little bit. It's not quite pure black, right? It's a little bit lighter than that. Hopefully you can see that a little bit. Let's go ahead and compare that to what we've got going on here. That's actually a little bit dark maybe. I might put a little bit of white in there. Just a touch. That's a little bit better. I like that. Kind of gives it a little bit of a haziness, right? Let's look at it here now. Yeah, I think that's probably good. So, I'll paint some black now. Dry this off, get this paint off of that, and throw it back over there. Alright, let's clean my brush a little bit. You can see my picture's hanging right in the middle of my shot right there, but that's okay. Maybe I'll move it later on. Right now I'm fine with it. A little bit of oil, and there we go. Maybe a touch more oil. I want this to be pretty thin. I've got black on there already. Alright, get my eyeballs on. Let's see what I might even change it to my other glasses. I don't think I need those up close glasses at the moment. Let's see how that goes. So, my main concern is having my head in the way. I think I might be alright if I do it like this. Yeah, let's try it out. Alright, so I'm just going to paint a little bit in the corner here. I probably don't even need to do this section here because I expect that will be hidden by a frame. And there's, I blocked out some stuff in here. I don't know how, maybe it's a little important to still block it out. Make sure I know where it is. I'm not too concerned about this. If I hit these bars here, I'm okay with that. So I'm pretty excited that I completed that section down there. That was, and I do still have to go back down there a little bit and do a tiny bit of detail work. But that's at the very, very end of the painting. I'll do that. I might keep a little small brush here. So I'm going to grab a small brush just to get around the edges of everything. Boy, that camera does not like me today. It keeps shutting off. That's all right. I gotta remember there's some wet paint down there, so I don't want to touch it. I do around the edges of everything, it'll be hopefully a little easier. This section is actually blocked by. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it. There's a little bush here that's pretty much gonna block up this whole section here. So I'm tempted to get a bigger brush than this actually. That one is a little small. This one's a little bit better. What's this one? I'm going to use this one. Go from a 00 to a 1, I think this is. Yeah, a 1. This is a regular size one also. It's a little bit bigger. But still has a nice fine tip to it. Let's hope that'll do all right. I think it will. Between these two brushes, I should be good. All right, switch back. There's actually a ton of detail in this black that I'll have to figure out at some point. There's a chain link fence that you can see, and I could just leave it out, I suppose, if I wanted to, but I think there's value in including that. It's hard to see the tip of the brush. It's all right. Don't worry. Everything's under control, right? Kind of. Hey, somebody showed up. How are you today? It's nice to see you. If it's your first time, welcome. I am here pretty much every Friday at this time. Oh, and they left. This whole social media thing, I don't know about it. I've had enough recognition through it that I'm okay with people coming and going, I guess. But it'd be nice to have a solid crew of people to hang out with. Sometimes I think when I say hi to people, they get scared and they run. Huh. Oh, my head's in the way. Sorry. I need an invisible camera that sits right in front of me. That's what I need. I could just switch to this camera. That way, even though my big head's in the way, it's kind of meant to be in the way on this shot, right? Depending on the painting, the type of painting, there's times to get close up to it and times to get far away from it. And this tends to be, hey, this was a pain. How you doing? Good to see you. It's been a little while. It has been super quiet here today, so I've just been rambling to myself for the most part, but it's really good to see you. I'll show you where I'm at right now. So, finished, well, sort of. I've got more work to do. Let me raise this up just a little bit, move this over. Just a little bit so you can see. So the rails are pretty much done. Not too bad. They could be. I'll have to do a little bit of work on them still, but they're pretty much. Let me raise that up just a little bit more. Pretty much done. So I'm pretty happy with them. I'll move this over so you can kind of see. I really like this section right in here with these bolts and stuff. It kind of makes things pop a little bit. So I've got some more detail to do, but I'm pretty happy with it. That's where I was at. Let's see, is that where I was at? I think so. That'll work. So that's where we are. I'm just painting away. You're alive. That's the only thing that matters. Good. I am doing good. I was sick for a couple weeks, pretty much. Why is my phone going off? Get rid of that. All right, I was sick for a couple of weeks. It is flu season here, cold season. And, you know, I just didn't feel like painting on that one Friday. So I skipped a week. But in reality, I didn't paint for like 2 weeks. But I am back, as they say, back in the saddle again. And feeling good. Happy to be progressing. I'm trying to take care of myself. Eating right, trying to sleep good. But, you know, everybody gets sick sometimes. And honestly, it was just a cold. It wasn't anything serious. It was just, you know, the only way to avoid that is to never come in contact with people, and that's just not something I do. Or something I can do, right? So this section's kind of boring. At least what I'm doing right now. There's no detail to what I'm doing. I'm just painting essentially black. I lightened it up a little bit because I never paint with pure black, but it's pretty dark in there. Underneath these, behind these bars here, there's some variation here and there that I'll have to manage, and some details in there. I was talking to myself before you arrived, and there's a bunch of chain link fence that is underneath this. So I will need to pull this back closer to me again. So, and I don't know if you saw this before, I've got my photograph over here now. I've got it hanging from a little boom stand. And I really like this setup because I can move this around, I can raise it and lower it, and it's kind of a nice little way to mount things. What brush am I using here? I'm lost. So, you're alive, that's good. I'm glad to hear it. I'm happy to entertain you alive or not, but alive is better. Alive is definitely better. This brush that I'm using, I think, is a little bit of an old brush. I don't know how old it is, but it's got some problems with it. Let me see here. and so the tip isn't giving me a nice tip. I mean, it could be worse, but sometimes I forget to clean my brushes good, and it's disappointing when it's a very nice brush. This is a very, or when it's a fairly expensive brush. This brush is unfortunately a little bit expensive. So I'll see if I can repair it a little bit. And the way I do that is, what I'll do is I'll clean my brush out the way I normally would, and but I'll put a bunch of soap in it when I'm done, and let that soap dry with the brush in and all the bristles doing the right thing, facing the right way, and that can sometimes, as long it's kind of like putting hairspray in your hair, right? And even after the hairspray wears off, it kind of it's already influenced the hair enough to correct it. So I'll probably do that. Now down here, I don't know how I want to deal with this. There's a little bit of gravel here and there. The ground lightens up. Maybe I'll just paint a little bit above or just below that. There's a pipe that runs across there. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, and that camera keeps going off on me. It keeps freezing up. I don't know why. So, sorry about that. It is not being a nice camera today. Get my head out of the way, of course. See, and that camera just came back. It's weird. It shuts off. Maybe it just doesn't have a good connection with my Wi-Fi. That's okay. It is a cold day. The snow has been melting, but today has gotten a little colder. Last I looked outside, there was sleet and ice falling from the sky. I'm not too happy about that because I'm ready for spring. But you get what you get and you don't get upset, I guess. I can't change it anyways, right? So the weather is the weather. Gone quiet again. For a second there, I thought I forgot I was online. I literally just lost my whole train of thought. I was in a different dimension. I was painting, so last night or the night before? I think it was the night before. And I only had a little bit of time to paint. And it was like it felt like the second I sat down, my time was up and I had to stop. And it happens to me all the time. Yeah, I was totally locked in. I had, but the problem is that I lose track of time when I do that. And, well, if I had zero responsibility, that might be okay. But life is always calling, right? I don't even know if you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, I guess you can see it. All right. I'm just painting these black boxes here. That's all. Nothing special. And I'm going to paint background to foreground. So everything that's in these black boxes, I hope, will be done by next week. And then I'll do these bars here. So maybe 2 weeks, this stuff will be done, and then I'll move up to here, and that will be a different story. I'm a little worried about up there because of the letters. Change views for a minute. I suppose every few minutes I'd change views no matter what, right? I've not had my lunch yet, which is unfortunate, because, oh boy, you know, I could talk about my boss all day long. I could talk about my boss all day long. The thing is, it's what's hard about bosses is that in my mind, I could do things different and better, right? But that's just in my mind. I don't know what my boss does on a regular basis, and if I could actually do better or not. Yeah. Well, thank you. I appreciate your listening to me. I, even though I'm a devout introvert, I've got a lot to say, I guess. Um, it's very hard for me to keep my mouth shut sometimes. When I have an opinion about things, you know, there's lots of things out there I don't really have an opinion on, but um, my work, I definitely have an opinion on. But we'll see how things go. Things change all the time, so. I think this is one of the things that keeps people from being an artist is there are things you have to do that you don't want to do, right? Doing an underpainting, I can't tell you how many people I've seen paint pictures that are quite obviously a single layer of paint, you know. And in some situations that's fine, you know, you've got a certain technique or a certain approach to painting, but often that one layer of painting makes it look unfinished, makes it look amateurish. You know, this is the third or the fourth layer of paint that I've put on this one spot here. You know, and in more finished areas, it's probably more like 5 or 6 layers of paint. And by the time I'm done, it'll probably be like 7 or 8 layers of paint. And that's really what creates that. It makes things look luminescent, makes things look finished and polished, and because you can't do it in one layer. You can't. Not the style of painting, anyways. You can do other things in one layer, but I am not a fan of single layer. I have a theory about lots of online posts about people doing artwork and stuff. And I believe that many of them are not real. Because they seem to do this one layer thing where they paint an object and it's perfect. Right from the start. There's no redoing, it's just perfect. And I don't know, maybe they're real, but in my opinion, it's not how real paintings are created. But also, the more that I think about it, the more I think people aren't buying that crap anyway, so. Doing just fine here, I think. This is actually moving quite a bit faster than I had thought it would. So I'm happy about that. Let me move over a little bit so you can see. You're always pulling the brush, right? You're pulling it in one direction, pulling it in another direction. You never push the brush. There might be some people who are doing some different things with art, but if you want a nice smooth Smooth finish, you pull the brush. Brushes are made to go in one direction. I don't know if I like, I don't even, as I think about it, I don't know if I would like a brush that went in more than one direction. It's funny, I switched from one brush to another brush, and this is my third brush, and I landed on this one. I got 15 minutes. Can I get it all the way through? Maybe. That will mean that for 1 hour, all I did was paint black. Flat black. It's okay. It looks good. I'm happy with it. It'll get more interesting after this. This part needed to be done. It looked ratty. There's even some scratches in the paint here. This painting sat on a shelf for probably over a year while I contemplated whether or not I could actually get through it. And I've come to the determination that I need to get through every painting I choose to take on. Which has, of course, led to a lot more artwork being produced, which is great. It's been a really good year for artwork for me. So I'm happy about that. And I've got my pictures for my next projects. I think I've got four photographs that I took. And I am itching to get started on those. I need to clear off a space to store multiple paintings so I can work on multiple paintings at once. So that is a little side project that I'll be working on, and that will be fun. And I'll be hitting two birds with one stone because, oh, there goes that camera again. I'll be hitting two birds with one stone because the area that I want to store paintings is needs to be cleaned out anyways. So I'll get rid of some junk. create a useful space. My son has a birthday this weekend, tomorrow actually. My son will be 13 years old. I know he's excited about it. We're going to go out and have a very nice dinner tomorrow night. We'll have some presents to open. Yeah, that camera is not happy with me today. That's okay. I'll keep it on this one for now. Well, thanks. You're very kind. I will tell him you said happy birthday. He will think it's fun. And I see we've got a new visitor. Hello and welcome. Well, I was going to change views, and my other camera is having fun with me today. This is the better view for the painting anyways. But maybe I can get in a couple minutes. Here we are. Hi. Welcome. But I feel like I'm pushing my luck with that camera though, because it's been going off and on this whole session. So if there's anything anybody wants to talk about, feel free to say so. I'm happy to talk about any subject for the most part. I enjoy talking while I work. Kind of takes out the, I guess, the mundaneness of it, you know. Why is the why is the sky blue? Well, the sky actually isn't blue. It is an effect that happens when sunlight hits the atmosphere and the particles in the atmosphere. And I couldn't tell you much more than that without looking it up. I'm not a scientist, however, I enjoy science quite a bit. I've learned a little bit about science. Sometimes, and I'm waiting for some warmer weather, sometimes I will do some astrophotography, which I enjoy very much, but it's not very fun when it's freezing cold outside. Why is the sky blue? That's a wise-ass question. But I do remember seeing a sort of a kids show thing about the sky, about the sky being blue, and essentially the sunlight somehow, and I don't know if I'm using the right term, so don't fault me if I get it wrong, somehow exciting the atoms in the atmosphere. And that's how they turn blue. But, again, not a scientist. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, I'm so almost done. And I'm totally going to finish this before I got to go. I got 5 minutes. And I'm almost there. So my goal over the week is to do quite a bit of work in this black area. We'll see how long that takes. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. And I'm just going to keep cruising, keep moving forward. I should have some time this weekend to work on it, which is good. This brush needs some desperate help. It is not holding up. Why is colder up in the mountains and when the mountains are closer to the sun? Well, see, you're asking all these sciencey questions. You gotta ask questions that I actually know a little bit more about. Why is it colder when you go up higher in elevation? That's essentially what you're asking, right? So you get higher up in the elevation. That's why, you know, there's snow on top of tall mountains in areas that at the bottom of the mountains are not, right? So, it's a good question. I don't have a good answer for that, other than the atmosphere is thinner the higher up you go, and as soon as you leave the atmosphere, it gets really, really cold. So I believe even if the sun is, I don't know, if the sun is hitting you in space, do you get hot? Or does it stay cold? I feel like it stays cold. And it only gets warm when you have atmosphere to collect the heat. Otherwise, the heat has no way to stay put. So the more atmosphere you have, the more warmth you have. That's another silly question. No more science questions, unless I know the answer. Okay? No more science questions. All right, I am almost done here. There's one more thing I want to try to do real quick. And that is these sections down at the bottom here where there's a little bit of like I said, some gravel along there. And all I want to do real quick, I'm just going to use I've got this blending brush. It's just a regular brush, but I use it for blending a lot. I'm just going to kind of dab away at those a little bit. That way there won't be a hard line there. It'll be easier to blend in another color underneath there when I do put in the rest of that gravel on the bottom here. So I think you might be able to see it. You can see the paint kind of getting softer on the edges there. That's really all I want. I had no idea I was actually going to get this far today. This was a really good session, so thanks for coming to watch me paint black. But it will get much more interesting after this. This is the only time I'm going to have to do this part here. Everything else is more about detail and objects and stuff like that. Literally, I think everything else is more like that. If you already know the answers to them, why are you asking them? All my questions, and I already know the answer. You're in a mood today. You're trying to make me crazy. I do like science, though. When I read, I like to read the news in the morning, and I generally skip to all the sciencey articles. All right, that's it for today. I'm going to clean my brushes, and I got to get back to work because in 1 minute my boss wants me to call. So clean these off real quick. I want to thank you. We had a number of people show up, and yeah. Oh, I saw your stars. Very impressive. Origami stars. That was fun. So I'll be back next Friday. We'll continue. We'll see what progress I make during the week, and keep painting, keep drawing, keep having fun, and hopefully I'll see you again next week. Have a great day. Happy painting. Bye.